Uh, so almost things are done. Like in product page, this filter and everything. Just in the farmer page, I have to showcase that I will complete. In order also, these are the order received by this particular farmer. If I click on the particular, I'm able to see everything. See, okay. Now we can host it. Now before hosting, let me just revise some things. Let's say now you are working on a project. You started the project and now you have to deploy it somewhere so that others can access it. So what things you need for deployment? Hmm. What things you need for deployment?
We need a server to host the application.
What do we mean by server now?
Um,
Which type of servers are there?
they can be web server, SQL server, database server,
No. Server mean either it can be a Windows or
cloud.
no Windows or
Linux,
hmm,
Linux.
Linux, right? Linux, no? These are server. We have two operating system, right? Ubuntu and everything is there, but that is not onto the deployed one, Windows or the Linux, right? So this is server. Once you means, let's say if you just have the server, can you deploy your application?
No, domain name.
Right? With the server also you can deploy, but outside that server you cannot access that application because that server has to be connected. When you purchase a server, what you get is IP. No? When you talk about any, let's say www dot any, Hoics.com, the GoDaddy.com. So those are domain name, but those are connected with your online IP, which points to your server. So you purchase server means by default you get IP address, online IP, which is not your local IP. It's an online IP. Anyone can access it. With IP also you can access. Let's say you don't purchase the domain. With IP also, let's say your IP is something 192.888.11 dot something. And on this, if you hit, if you have hosted your application on your IS or something, you will get the website. But you don't want to disclose your IP, right? If you're disclosing your IP, there are chances of hacker to infiltrate that, right? So instead of that, we purchase a domain. Then domain, now we have IP and we have domain. But if I visit this domain, this is my IP, and let's say my domain is farmconnect.com. This is my domain. So if I hit this, how this IP should be loaded means instead of rendering, instead of directly hitting it, I will be hitting it. But indirectly, it should hit this IP and it should load my page, whatever I have. So how do we link this IP to this domain? We have to link, right? It should not be something automatic because purchasing server is a different thing and purchasing domain is a different thing altogether. So we have to link. If for this IP, this is the domain what you look for. Anyone? Any idea?
Control panel.
No. Name servers. Heard before? Name servers. So whenever you purchase a domain, you get name server, something unique ID of alphabet. Okay, something unique, something character of unique ID. Okay, sometimes it has numbers or also. Now this name server, we have to bind it with this IP. Okay, when you bind this name server, this particular domain name to your IP, right? Whenever someone visits the IP, by default it goes to the. Whenever someone hits domain name, request goes to that particular IP. Okay. Now in server, when you purchase a domain name, you get name server. That's it, and your domain name, right? But when you purchase a server, you get space, then bandwidth, subdomains, right? So first, whenever you are purchasing a server, you decide either Windows or Linux. Again, there is a catch, like, is it a shared hosting? Let's say before purchasing everything, we have to decide what you want to go, what is your project requirement, and how this project, whatever the project you are developing, how many users are going to access this. Let's say at a every day, within a day, around 10,000 people are going to access your application. So there are three types of various, but let's say one is shared servers,
Dedicated.
then you have cloud, then what do we have, that VPS, and standalone, or you can say, what is the term for that, means they host it on their environment, self environment, you can say. So these are the various ways how you can purchase a server. Now shared server, what do we mean by shared server? Anyone having an idea what is shared server, and why this thing, like, all these things what I'm explaining, is this part of Angular development, or UI developer has to know all this? We don't do anything with this, right? We don't have to worry about at all. But why it is important then? In engineering, on MCA, whatever you might have done, there these things were there, right? What, DNS, domain name servers, that Active Directory, so many things were there. Again, if you had that subject in your education, right? So even though you are Angular developer, right now this is not a time that you should be only limited to your use case only, right? Means the things what you are focused on Angular, let's say TypeScript, JavaScript, HTML, CSS, Bootstrap, and PrimeNG, AgGrid, the third party libraries, you cannot limit yourself to just that. You should be open. See how things are working, how different systems are connecting, right? At least you should have a basic idea. So these things are important, because when you participate in, let's say, in interview, this is important only because once you are done with your first round, second round, the managerial round, this is the stuff they check. Is candidate only limited to hit technology, or he is aware of all the things happening around? Because if you get a chance, you should be able to work on anything. That's where these things get checked after 6+ experience, not everything. Okay, but somehow you have to, sometime after this you have to learn this, right? So based on your application, how many people are using, how many people are going to use that application, what extra things you are going to use in your application? Does it have a file upload? Multiple files are going to be uploaded? Does it have some triggers, automatic jobs? Then is your application going to send some mails also, right? So many things are there. So according to that, okay, what things are going to be needed in your project, you select a server. Okay, so let's say you have an application where you have file upload, then you need to send email also. Let's say around 10K users in the day. This is the users you are going to have for your application, right? Then what we can have now, consider like 10K users are going to use your application, so you need load balancer also. Means if your main server get down because of so many visits, you need a second server which will act as a backup server. Even I have not done anything, but I know it. Yeah, what is load balancer, what is the how it works. You will have a main server. If that server fail, you will have backup 1 2 3. That is what we call as a load balancer, right? So if your requirement is like this, you have so many things, so you will go for a cloud. Because shared server is, what is shared server now? let's say this Hostinger, Hoics or GoDaddy, what they do, they create a server, single server, and on that space, that single space gets shared by multiple projects. Means it's a single IP, but that IP gets shared by multiple domains. So on a single server, multiple project will be hosted. So let's say on one IP, 192.168.10.999. On this particular IP, let's say 5 domains are linked. Okay, because it's a shared server. So let's say 5 domain, and for all the 5 domain has 5,000 users per day. So consider like the same bandwidth is getting used by so many people. So your server speed will be low. So that's why you need a standalone. That's why we go for a cloud or VPS or a standalone. But let's say your application, let's say this application also, our project. Let's say this application is going to be used only in Pune, right? So you have maximum 2,000 or 3,000 users per day. So you don't need to go for cloud because cloud is very costly, right? How does they charge? How does billing work in cloud? How that bill gets generated in cloud?
As per users.
Based on users.
Based on usage.
No. How does, you might have heard na ki yeah, our AWS costing is very high, so we shifted it to somewhere. Costing, how to reduce the costing, billing is very high in cloud. You might have heard it, you might have seen some LinkedIn post, how they, what thing they do to optimize the costing. Okay, before that, what is bandwidth? What is this bandwidth? What is bandwidth? No one knows. How come? See, when you purchase a server, you get particular bandwidth with it. Bandwidth means it's a kind of a space or memory. Let's say you purchase a server with 10 GB bandwidth. Whenever a user visit your website, some bandwidth will get reduced from this 110 GB. Whenever a user visit your website, some part of bandwidth get reduced. So consider you have 10 GB bandwidth, and every month, every day you have got 10,000 users visiting. So this bandwidth might get reduced. They might get over in next 15 to 17 days. Then your application won't be accessible because your bandwidth has lost. Now understood what is bandwidth?
Space.
Space kind of. Whenever a user visit your website, how many users, how they can access, that is nothing but that. Whenever a user visit, that get reduced. Okay. So as I said, whenever you purchase a server, so many things you have to consider. Okay, clear? So how many in cloud, in specific cloud, how the billing gets generated? First, bandwidth, how many users are using your application. Then services, how many services you are using. Let's say file server you are using, email service you are using. So many things are there. Again, I also don't know in that much detail, but some things I explored that I know. Right? So what services? Cloud provide multiple services. Now AI is also there. So many AI things are provided by cloud also. So what services you are using in your application? How many times you are using? According to that, your bill gets generated. Right? Whenever you visit your website, if your all the script and let's say your Bootstrap, any third-party library you are using from over here in your particular files are there. You have installed Bootstrap and everything over there. So every time when you wait, that particular file gets generated. In when you load the page, HTML get loaded, CSS, JavaScript get loaded. So if you put it over there, one API call will be for your document, one API call will be for your HTML, CSS, one for JS, right? Instead of that, sometimes we host our JS and CSS onto CDN also. So that hitting cost will get minimized little bit. Okay, so many things we have to do to reduce the billing. So that is how cloud billing gets generated, and it is very costly. If you have a normal application, let's say within month you have let's say 5,000 users are going to use your application, so your monthly billing will go around 5 to 7K. Okay, let's say you have a app project which has, let's say, 5K users per month, so your billing might go to 5 to 7K in cloud. Okay, but consider you have 5 to 7K per month users. So if you go on shared, when you purchase a shared hosting, right? So for a year, you have to just save expend 5 to K for a year, even with unlimited bandwidth. Got it? For cloud, you have to pay monthly. This might be more than that also if your costing is not optimized properly. But if you go on a shared server, you just have to pay 5 to 7K for a year with the domain and hosting. Understood now? Why all these things are very important, right? Clear? Because it's a shared server. Same server is getting shared by multiple domains. So costing is very low. So like from cloud, hosting for Hoics, Hostinger, GoDaddy, all they provide nothing but shared server. They have dedicated server also, standalone server also. But normally, if a requirement is not like that, so many people are not using your application, so we go for a shared hosting. Okay. Then we have standalone or self. Now consider like what will be the example? Let's say Tesla, right? Tesla might have some website, so they don't go for cloud, or even if say uh, Ola, Uber, they don't trust the cloud because that data is hosted on their cloud, right? So that data they might use somehow. So they create their individual server. They don't go for a cloud, so they will go for a standalone. So previously, when we didn't have cloud or shared server, na, so this is only we used to have. We used to set up a server machine and we used to link that to the internet, so that server machine means nothing but PC was in your home, but you can be accessible from by using the IP because that IP was open to internet. That is your online server. That is what we previously used to do. Okay, but big companies only now we do this. You might have seen some big server. If you have any, one of you might be in MNCs. That dedicated server rooms are there. So many cabinets will be there. Those are nothing but servers, standalone server. What we do. Okay, understood? One more term was there. The subdomain. What is subdomain? What is subdomain? No one knows subdomain. At least you might have heard somewhere. Let's say farm connect is your main domain. Farmconnect.com is your main domain. Now
Farmer
on this, you will host your
connect.
website, but you have to host your API also, na? API should be on another domain. So you create a subdomain like API dot farmconnect.com. So on the main domain, you create subdomain. This is your subdomain. This is your main domain. Understood? API dot. Let's say you have admin application also. On the main domain, you have hosted your website. But let's say you have a very big application admin, and that is just altogether separate project. So admin app dot farmconnect.com. This will be your another subdomain. So when you purchase a server, it specifies how many subdomain you get. The more you paid, the more you subdomains you can create. Understood? Clear this? Guys, clear or no? Okay. Then we have space. Again, we are purchasing an online PC, right? Nothing but hosted on the internet. So how much space it will need, right? So that's thing. Let's say in your application, you are going to deal with so many files. File upload is so many things you are doing. So normally we need a different file server. So in shared server, you don't get a separate file server. But in cloud, you get a separate file server. So let's say file server. So in AWS, what is the file server we have? In AWS, what is the name of the file server what we use?
S3.
S3 bucket. Okay. In Azure, what do we call it in Azure? Blobs, right? Blobs or blobs, something like this. Okay. So in AWS cloud, we have S3 server, S3 which is a file server. In Azure, we have blobs. Just like that, in Google, it might be something in that Apple, it might be something, IBM, it might be something. Okay. So you will have Windows server where you will store your project. But if your application has so many files and that here needs to be processing, so you need a different file server so that you don't disturb your original server. Okay, you have a different server for keeping all your files. Clear now? So these are the things you should know. Okay. Now, why this subdomain was important? We had Nitesh some days back, right? So in final interview, he had that question. The manager said like our application has three different projects. One is API project, one is admin kind of application, and one is a website. So from UI, how you will deploy this application so that user will be able to, because admin people are different, website people are different. So how you will separate this application? What you know? So he didn't know anything. Subdomain, what is subdomain, and everything. So that question was empty. Even though he got selected, but that was the question. He manager tries to give the hint also, but he was totally blank on that side. Okay, so that's why having knowledge of this, again, most of the application has file upload and everything. So they ask you, hey, let's say in our application we have a file upload. So yeah, ultimately, even though you are uploading your file to the S3 or the blobs, you get you get your API also, and with the API you pass the file. But whenever you upload your file to the any file server, either AWS3 or a blobs, you get something unique characters added in your file name. Then you create a pipe to remove that, something like that. Okay, so these things are important. Okay, sometimes your what do we say? IP. So sometimes some services are hosted, they are not connected with the IP. So you have to directly connect with IP also. Okay. Then thing what IP, Windows, Linux space, file server, bandwidth. Yeah, this is everything what we should know. Let's check from over here. Hosting, Windows hosting. See, if I go to the basic, so basic will get 10 GB SSD, right? When you purchase a laptop, you check the hard disk SSD, or right now all is SSD only. You can host only one website. Email accounts. Whenever you purchase a domain, all of you are all of you are working, you might have your personal email ID, right? Something dot at the rate your company name. So when you purchase a domain, with that domain, you can create your email accounts also. Okay. So with the package, you get limited. So with basic package, you get 10 email account. Databases also is limited, right? subdomains 2. If you get a different one, see 15 email accounts, 3 databases, 3 subdomain, 160 rupees per month, 20 email account, 5 databases, 5 subdomain. Got it? If you go with the larger one, 30 email account, 10 databases, 10 subdomain. Got it? Understood? So according to the package, according to the server space, according to the shared hosting type, these are all shared hosting, but again with the different specification. Now if I go with your standalone one, here is standalone one, Windows reseller, web hosting, Windows hosting. They had somewhere, where is the Windows reseller? I think these are that dedicated one. So prices are more. Okay. What else is in Linux reseller? WordPress hosting, business hosting. Okay. So according to your requirement, this is like on host Hoics we have seen. Let's check on the GoDaddy also. Hosting, Windows hosting, virtual private sector, VPS what we called. So these are individual PC, just like what we used to create standalone. Na? They also provide it. So only one server will be there and only you will host it. This is not, this server won't be shared with anyone else. So you get a better speed. You don't have a downtime and everything, right? So see, 4 GB RAM, 2 GPU processor, 100 GB SSD, right? Backup is there, Linux or Windows compatible, cPanel is there, 2 additional IPs available on request. You know that if one IP is down, you can have a backup for another IP, right? So these are your standalone or VPS, you can say. Okay. They all GoDaddy also have the shared hosting. You can go to the web hosting. See, 89 rupees per month. Here, what it was hosting. So here 84 rupees per month and here 89. So this is the rate they are showing for per month. So GoDaddy, it's a foreign platform, so their costing is little bit high. If you purchase the same domain and the hosting from GoDaddy, it might go to 3 to 4K. But if you same purchase from Hoics or Hostinger, it might go to just 1500 for a year with domain and hosting also. Because this is Chennai based company, they for your taxation and everything is less. Understood now? Everything what we covered. Now, when you deploy the application, let's say this is our own project, but if it was a proper company's project, how many environments we will have? What are environments, first of all? What are environments? Right? When we work on a company, you have different environments. What are those?
Stage load
Right? We can
production.
say dev, then after dev,
Prod.
directly
QA.
after dev, prod,
Mm.
QA, na?
Mm.
Right? After QA,
UAT or staging.
UAT or staging. So UAT or SIT. Okay, SIT means nothing but stage. Either according to the project, some dev environment will be there. So let's say you completed your application, you deploy it onto your dev environment. So let's say that will be dev.farmconnect.com. On this you will test. For this you will have a different database. Okay. Now you have done your testing. All things are supposed to be properly working. Then you deploy your application to QA. So they will check on farm qa.farmconnect.com. Their database will be different, right? Because they need to test with their data. So whatever the different environments you have, different database will be there. Okay. Then in some project you will have UAT or SIT. In some of the project you will have UAT also and SIT also. Okay. Who test on UAT or SIT? Who will test over here? On dev environment, we test it. On QA, our tester will test it. Who will test it over here?
Business analyst mostly.
Right? Business analyst or directly client. Okay? They will test on over here. Once they approve, then it will finally go to the prod. So prod will be farmerconnect.com. So all that environment will have different databases. Normally developer won't have access to this. He cannot do anything over here. He cannot test it with over here. He has to replicate same on dev environment or sometimes QA or sometimes over here. In some application, you don't get access to UAT or SIT also. Only dev and QA you have. So if something is breaking over here and same thing is working on your dev, if you check your local or your dev, it is supposed to be working fine. But on the production, it is breaking. So it's our job and API developer and QA job. Everyone has the job to replicate the same thing over here because we cannot fix it on the directly production. We have to replicate the same thing on over here. First, we need to find why that issue is coming. Is it because of environment specific? Because same thing is working on day one QA, right? And it is not working on production. So we have to check something might not be there on production, which is there on this environment. So like that, we do analysis, we check logs and everything, right? If something we got, if it was something related to server, then infra team will take care. If something is related to DB team will take care. If something is related to UI will take care. So many times, according to the environment, also we write some code, right? So if it is related to the environment that we didn't take care, we have to fix it. Like these different environments are there. So this is nothing but your subdomain. That's what I said. This should be known to you. Okay. This is 80%. These are the environments we have. In some project where development complexity is very high, so we will have UAT1. It get deployed in UAT1. Once UAT1 pass, then you will have UAT2. Once all the UAT is done, then you will have SIT1. These are again SIT2, SIT3. Then finally it get deployed. So if you create if you are working on a one particular task that get deployed on dev, you test it, then QA test it, then on UAT1 your business analyst might test, then on UAT2 their business analyst might test, then an SIT2 client will actually test, then let's say they might also have some people who wants to, or they might have some users those are actual users but they get a beta testing kind of application, so they deployed over here. Once it's satisfied everything, then it will finally goes to the production. So before it goes to the production, you have to go through all this environment. So in my JP Morgan project, once my task get deployed onto the dev and from dev it is working, after 3 months that task or that feature used to get deployed on actual production. So from dev to go to the production, it used to take 3 months for one particular feature. So within that 3 months, all the testing will used to happen. All this we had up to six we had in SIT. Sorry, in SIT we had up to six, SIT1, SIT2, up to six. So many environments were there. Then if all are working, then it used to finally go to the production. And we didn't get to know also, yeah, it is deployed on production unless we get any incident. Yeah, on production it is breaking. That's when we used to get to know, yeah, it got deployed on production. Getting it? By that time, we used to forget what we did for that. Then again, we had to check like what we did, incident we have to check. So, and what are incidents, first of all? Anyone have worked on it? What are incidents? You might have heard incidents, INCs, prod issues. This you might have heard. Means whenever something breaks onto the production, so the client or their BA will create an incident. So on production they cannot test, right? So customer might report it, or their tester might have found it. On even the production, they will have a test user to test it everything on the production also. So what they will do, they will provide what is breaking. They will provide you console log, screenshot, and everything. And by using that information, that all get you an incident. And by using that console log, network call, everything, consoles are there, API calls details, and if someone has logger and everything, they provide all the detail in the incidents. And by analysis, by doing analysis of that, you need to replicate the same issue on your environment. Then you fix it. Then it goes to the prod fixes. Okay. So you directly deploy that. Some in some application you directly deploy it to the production. Some in some application you do UAT or SIT, then you deploy. You skip day one QA. You directly do the changes on UAT. UAT people will test it, then it will go to the SIT, then it goes merged to the production. So according to the project, prod fixes they deal it differently. Okay. So when you work on live project, these are the things you need to take care. Again, according to the company level, according to the client, different techniques or different way of working will be there. Understood, everyone? This is important if your experience is growing. Now or after some days, you might have to understand all these things. Yeah, what are different environments we have? And in interview also, you have to specify. Yeah, your application was getting deployed on different domain, right? If something was coming in production, you have some issue. So how you used to fix it? There they ask you, ki, if on the production, if you have done some prod fixes, how you manage your branching, right? So from prod fixes, you will deploy, you will take a pull, you will create a branch from your UAT or SIT, then you fix it, and those changes again you merge to your master also, right? Because whatever changes you have merged onto the production branch, that has to merge in your master branch also. So you cherry pick on that, and then you master it to master branch. So that's where that git cherry pick also come into the picture. From production branch, from release branch, you have to cherry pick particular commit, and then you have to merge it to the master also. Because in master, your current stories are also code is also there. Na? You cannot deploy master directly. So you cut out release branch. So you fix on the release branch, then you merge those changes also into the master. So your release and master branch are on sync. Again, this is according to your experience. If your experience is more than 5 to 6 years, this knowledge you should have. Okay. No one will expect this thing if your experience is below 5 years. But in small companies, they will ask this also. Because in small company, 5 years is nothing but kind of a TL. Okay. Clear? So like Damini, Akasha, those who are giving interviews currently, these are all things you should have clear in your mind. Because in managerial round, this kind of question they might expect. They need a candidate who knows how different system connects, course policy, what is course policy, what they do for whitelisting the incoming URL, right? What different environments are there? How does testing happen, right? Okay. Damini or Akash, anything else they are asking?
No, actually, I forgot all this. Thanks, I reminded. Like,
Right. Okay. According to the company,
understood.
they might ask these questions. Some of it sometimes might go a little beyond also. Okay. Fine. So I will purchase the server. What was the name? What? Farmly Connect. Shall we go with Farm Connect or that? What was the other one? Fresh, Fresh Farm, na? What was the other one? Fresh Farm. Let me check. Farm Connect. Is it available? .com is not available. Acha, .in. .in is also not available. Farm Connect .in is available. Okay, this is also unavailable. What was that? Fresh Veggie.
Freshly farm.
Freshly Farm. That also doesn't, because our domain name should look like the actual one. Let's say like Ashutosh is putting this project in your CV. So Freshly Farm is doesn't look like it might be an actual or live client project. Try to think for something name which is very. It should not look like a fake one. Means no one will call it as a fake one, but it should not look like a like made up or something. Freshly Farm.
Organic farm.
Organics might be already taken. Organic. But our application is like we are connecting farmer and customer directly. No middleman is there, right? So around that we need something. So farm
Kisan Direct.
Sun Direct is already there, I think. Okay, just think today and see if it is available or not, right? Ping in the group. This is all whatever you think. Like, is it related to our project? Once we finalize, I will purchase it. In evening, we will or I will deploy, because I have to create a separate database. I have to deploy it on separate. When you purchase a domain, you get control place panel also. Okay. Then what do we know? I have to the new database. I have to migrate old one to the new database. Then we will have a separate API for production. Once I ready all that in evening, I will showcase you all that key. Once you purchase a domain, how the control panel is there, right? I can share the details with you all, but again, like if anyone logins, you do some changes, our server might get hanged. So that details I won't be sharing, but I will showcase you all key what do we get in control panel when we purchase a shared hosting and everything. Okay, so just those who have time today, go through, search it, what domain is available and what is suitable for us. Let me know. I will purchase it, and then in evening we will host it also. Okay,
Are you going to use this application for only Pune location? Like,
Sanvi, we don't have a client. We have created this for ourselves, right?
no, just I'm asking because
You
yeah,
can
there
keep
are
it
some
anything.
yeah, okay.
We can limit ourselves, because at the bottom we have to specify this should look like an actual project, right? So
Hmm.
currently
Because
we are serving.
because what happens, right? Whenever there is something place, for example, if it is Bangalore, means like we will use something like some names in Kannada also, like that.
Right. No.
Like, yeah.
So that's what I said. We have to go with the English name, not the regional specific. So we don't have restriction.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. We will at the bottom website we will write it. Currently we are serving in Nagpur or Pune, right? So when those people who are going to put this in your CV, you can say, yeah, this is location specific, because someone will say, I have not heard of it. Obviously, you won't heard it because this is only operated in Pune or Nagpur, whatever, right? Okay. So when you are explaining this, you have to lie a little bit also. Consider, you have to keep you in your mind, even though you know, okay, this is not a real project, right? But if you have that in your mind, you what how you have to communicate. Yeah, this was particularly developed for a particular client which is operated in Pune only. Let's say Even though the interviewer is from Pune only, still he might not be able to, he might not have heard it. It's possible. There are multiple application like this already working in Pune. I have not heard of it any, right? But if visit the website, he should be able to see he currently serving in Pune or something. So yeah, that he will feel ki, yeah, it's okay, right? Again, some things in our application are not clickable. Now if you visit our home page, whenever it's a live application, everything should be clickable. Like if I click on search, see, nothing is happening. If I click on shop now, nothing is happening. If I click on register farmer, nothing is happening. So whenever you deploy, you have to take care of everything. It should not look like here a on click of register farmer, it is not doing anything. Production website won't behave like this, right? So once I host it, you also have to check it properly. Consider yourself that you are a tester of this application. Find out the issues. We have to fix it before you are putting it in your CV. That application should be production ready. There should not be a spelling mistake and nothing else. Understood? That is your part. Okay. And once I deploy it, you only are going to fix the issue, but I will merge the PR. Okay. You will fix it. You raise a PR. I will merge it. Okay, like that we will do. Fine. Anyone having any doubt? Else we are good to close. And just provide me the names which are available. I will purchase it today. Okay. Fine. Let's connect in the evening. Thank you all.